I'm Colin.
I'm Brian.
I'm Patrick.
And I'm Brian.
And we're Entropy.
You're listening to Dying Scene Radio.
Dying Scene Radio. Dying Scene, Dying Scene, Dying Scene, Dying Scene, Dying Scene Radio. Dying Scene Radio. Dying Scene Radio. Dying Scene Radio.
We're at the Tuscan Cafe in Warwick, New York, vegan restaurant, and we're doing this podcast from.
Well, it's vegan friendly. I mean, it's not only vegan, but
Can you tell me a little bit about why we're meeting here? Because basically one of the reasons why I like doing interviews in places that the band chooses, they choose a spot that's either important or iconic to them in some way. Why here?
I think Colin should handle that.
Technically, we played our first show here back in January of 2013. We had also played a show in December of 2012, but that technically wasn't our first show, so this is where we had our first show, and it's always kind of been a home base for us.
Yeah, it was crazy driving up here, actually. I mean, I went through Tuxedo, and to be honest with you, man, it looked like The Shining on the way up here. It was pretty.
You passed like Sterling Forest and the Renaissance Fair and stuff like that.
Yeah, ski lodges and stuff like that. I just got mass murder had to have happened.
That's where they
around
had the
somewhere.
Renaissance Fair. That's
Yeah,
where
you
all
have
the
to look out
weirdos
for
hide
albino people that try to pull you over and act like they're cops, but really they just want to molest you.
Is that true?
No. Maybe.
Little known
I
fact.
mean, I can't say it doesn't happen.
Little known fact as well. Oprah Winfrey has a house out there.
Apparently,
Really?
Apparently
Yes, she
Ben
does.
Affleck did as well for
And
a little
Ben
while.
We have
Affleck.
been on the O Channel 0 times, which is ridiculous.
So talk to me about the band. You guys, the band's called Entropy, right? And
Yep.
how'd you come up with the name Entropy?
Well, honestly, we've gone through quite a few ideas, and we were looking for a name that more bands had than any other band on Earth. So we went with Entropy, which we're basically forming like a United Nations of bands with currently. But if you like hardcore punk, which is what we play, there's a really good band called Entropy. It's been playing hardcore punk from Southern California since the mid-'80s.
It's the same name?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now, how does that...
They're better at it than we are, too.
What
so.
is that now? What is that? Have you ever considered changing the name
We
because
put
of somebody else?
NY at the end of it,
Yeah,
so
'cause
we
we wanna
don't,
So that
avoid,
makes
we
it
want to
happen
avoid
now.
That makes it all
lawsuits.
better.
If you're
right?
if you're a lawyer on Facebook, we're
Now,
Entropy
isn't
NY.
the
We
name
care
of the
way-
new album something about no plagiarism, and you guys stole somebody else's name? I mean, what the
Yep.
hell is that about?
Yeah, yeah.
I also
it's actually
stole
supposed to
a
be
logo.
ironic, but we're not quite intelligent enough to reach irony, so it's silly. Which is that's a level we're happy to be at. It's like more Leslie Nielsen.
Let's introduce everybody, if we could. Can you guys tell me your names and what you play in the band?
I'm Brian and I'm vocals.
Patrick, I play guitar.
I'm Brian and I play drums.
I'm Colin, and I'm the guy they let play bass.
For now.
And you said the band's been together since 2012, is that right?
Yeah, just over 2 years.
Okay. And so you just released your new LP.
All work, no plagiarism.
Tell me about the music scene up here in Orange County, New York.
Well, Orange County, New York has had a diverse scene for a long time. Originally, we had both All Out War in the mid-'90s, which is hardcore, and then we had bands like Cooter, Lounge, which were more pop punk, and back in those days we would have shows that were mixed, ska, punk, and I'm really old, so I remember that time. But through the years,
How old are you, man?
I am 35.
Oh my God, that's my age.
No, thanks
man.
for
That's
making me
old.
say that.
That's my age too, man.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh,
okay. I mean, we're gonna die soon, but
Yeah,
we're
everybody
alive
dies.
now, so I'm just gonna talk about the old days. And I was wearing an onion on my belt because that was the style at the time. But we've always had mixed shows, and we have a pretty mixed scene currently. Like just tonight, there's a pop punk band, there's a folk punk band, there's whatever the fuck we do.
There's a
Characterize
poet.
He's a poet also?
Sorta. I mean, you see him.
If
He's
you wanna
pretentious
call him
enough,
that.
but he's not like talented.
So what would you characterize your sound as?
We're hardcore punk. I would say.
Hardcore punk.
Yeah.
Well,
Like 80s
with
hardcore punk.
with the
I guess.
exception of the bonus track, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We're kind of sorry we did that now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have a lot
Too
of
many
not.
people took it
Do you have a lot of
seriously.
people like asking you to make songs like that? Because I know you're probably gonna hate me right now. I'm sure this is a joke or the inside joke or whatever. But I like that song, man. That was
Well,
that was my
everybody
favorite on
does.
the freaking record, man.
I don't know if it was a joke. I mean, Brian had been in a ska band with my guy over there for a good 15 years.
Yeah.
10, somewhere in
10,
the 12-ish.
15.
Pat had played with Brian in a ska punk band, and Colin, I don't know. I think we found him here. But I've hated ska for a long time, so that was cool.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
well, you do it well.
Well, these guys did. I just sang. I just wrote words.
I like your vocals, man. Your vocals are very, it's very interesting. It's different. It's not like a lot of other bands. How did you shape your voice and stuff? What'd you say?
Honestly, I've just been doing it a long time, and that's what came out.
Yeah, it's
I didn't
cool.
always like my voice, but I've had good 16 years to
Well,
work
we
on
still
it.
don't, so.
Yeah, and these guys still hate it. So
What about your influences? Would you say that Sick of It All influences you guys at all, or what? I mean,
for me vocally, I would say definitely some of the early New York hardcore. Definitely like 7 Seconds. A lot of the earlier hardcore punk, which would what they used to call either hardcore or punk back in the day. But other vocalists like maybe like Mike McColgan, Dropkick Murphys' first singer. I don't know about influences wise, but I definitely like punk rock in general. Like I've listened to and just kind of definitely shaped how I sing.
who comes up with the song titles?
Everybody except Brian.
The
pretty
song
much.
titles are ridiculous.
They
You
don't
guys,
like
into
my
stand-up
names.
comedy or something.
I wanted to name a song called "Put a Little Blood in Your Shart," and they were like, "No, you're not doing that."
This isn't
This
either.
is why I
You
said,
can't
do not
shout
turn
that
this
out,
microphone
man.
on. I don't know
work
why you would
here.
do that
You're
to
gonna
us.
get me fired.
Yo, if we give this guy ice cream, we have very long
Whoa.
rides.
I go ape
I
shit.
just want to say that.
I get bad sugar highs.
It's past sugar high. It's like
I mean,
I hope it's diabetes at this point.
even the song, the song that we were just talking about, the bonus track, Crazy Eddie's Business School. That's
Oh yeah, actually, Brian
That's
did name
actually
that.
my-
I named that one.
We let him name the bonus track.
And I do like the name. So
And Nose is
about
the most popular one.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K. Now I know where that reference is.
absolutely,
Absolutely, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
definitely, yes.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, we a
Great
lot of
movie.
our titles are references, but we try not to do it all the time.
To what?
obviously.
To like all different stuff, like movies and different
Movies.
pop culture
There's
stuff.
a comic book in there. There's TV shows mostly.
Yeah.
We're trying not to do that so much moving forward. But we always
what
had a good
happened
time.
was
No, I think it's-
like
I
a
think
lot
it's
of
fun,
like
man.
crummy pop punk bands were naming songs after TV references, so we wanted to make it not cool anymore.
Yeah, what we
it-
want to
it's
do.
great how you guys like use the irony to go against stuff, but then it's actually becomes like part of your thing.
Well, you know what the whole thing
Like
is.
the fact that you did that ska song, it was fucking awesome.
The best
right?
was
And-
the one review that's like, I could do without that bonus track at the end, and we're just like, finally, somebody gets it.
When somebody hated the ska song, that was our favorite review.
Really?
I do want to say that, like, when somebody, like, when your parents come, it gets shitty, like Facebook. That's kind of what we're trying to do with the song titles. Like, we're trying to show up at your parents with the song titles, and here's a sweater vest. Don't forget your scarf.
On the About section on your Bandcamp, it mentioned something about we like Oscar a lot. Dogs are cool too. Who the heck is Oscar, man? Because I saw it on your Facebook too. What's Oscar? It's a band.
The
I've never heard
band?
of
The
them.
band Oscar?
Tell me about it. I don't
Oscar
even-
was the
Oscar-
Bring me to school,
Yeah.
man. I'm retarded. I apologize.
Oscar
I didn't-
is a band that was on Epitaph Records, and they were really famous for not giving a shit about anything. They
Ooh,
played
okay.
with Guttermouth, and they just like made fun of them the entire time, and they did not care how much. They were the most hated band on Epitaph Records in like the 90s.
I think that's the only
And-
time I've ever heard Oscar being called.
And that's what you aspire
famous.
to?
I don't know if I would call Oscar famous, like, in any way.
I said famous. Oh my god.
Yeah, you did. It was nice, though. It made me feel good. But
Yay.
I
Where
would
are they
say
from?
Oscar was known
They were
actually
from
as
California.
probably the last good band Epitaph signed. The next signing after them, there was Younger Kids, was Matchbook Romance from around here, and they went right to shit from there. Warped Tour happened. I mean, basically statutory across America. But Oscar just didn't give a fuck, and they kind of came and went. And that was the last good band Epitaph signed, right up till Off With Their Heads, I would say.
Now you guys have been around since 2012. Have you been on the road at all?
Yeah,
Doing road gigs and stuff.
Yeah, we try to play out as much as possible. We've been as far south as Virginia.
Do you have any crazy, ridiculous road stories?
We
Brian
one thing-
woke up with pink eye.
It
once.
wasn't pink eye. It was a
All right,
eye
well, it
infection
was
and strep
very
throat.
much like
We played 2 shows in D.C., one in and one outside, and went to sleep at our friend's house inside D.C. And
Shout out to Dave.
yep, Dave. Dave's great. Woke up the next morning. I had what I thought was pink eye in both eyes, and what turned out to be bronchitis. And we had a show in Trenton that day. I realized I left the house without my wallet. I don't have my benefit card. I'm like, what do I do? So we're sitting there outside of CVS, and I'm eating cough drops, just like gnawing on them like a squirrel. And we decided we went and did the show. I couldn't even talk between songs, but we just did what we could.
What was great was that morning he woke up and he was like, everyone was still asleep and he's like whispering to me. I'm like, oh, he's fine. I'm like, oh wow, his eyes look a little funky, whatever. And then next thing he's like, no, this is my normal voice.
He's like, oh my God, no. But yeah, we played the show that night, and I was in the hospital for like a day and a half.
We set
after
up
that.
our merch one time, I guess, on the road next to a bunch of dildos.
Tell me that story.
Yes, the
Also in
dildo.
Trenton.
I think
New
Pat,
Jersey.
Also in Trenton.
Pat.
Different show though.
we got there, and as soon as we got there, we there's a food truck outside, and standing in line for 5 minutes, we then watched 2 people get punched in the face. That was pretty nice. And then we went up, set up our merch table, and it was like someone selling adult toys, which are like dildos, like just right on the table.
The
And
best
there was-
part
I don't
is
think those were
children.
made by
There was, like,
adults.
steady traffic
I don't
of
think they were
children
made by
past it. It was-
adults.
There were kids at the show just browsing the line of dildos.
Nice.
And no, their parents weren't like, "Hey, get away from the dildos.
What's more
Don't look
punk
at the
rock than
edible
that?
Yeah,
underwear."
exactly.
I think if there's anything to take away from this, it's that food trucks definitely bring out the worst in people.
Stretch arm
You know
dom.
It what-
food truck?
It's just everybody gets punched.
It was
I
the
don't know.
WTF food truck. So like,
Yeah,
what the
that's
fuck?
true.
Like,
How do you guys feel about Dying Scene? Has Dying Scene, being on Dying Scene, has that helped you guys out at all? Have
Dying
you
Scene
noticed
is,
anything good coming
Definitely,
from that?
definitely good press from Dying Scene. And the cool thing about Dying Scene is it's kind of like a punk news, but it's more active. Where punk news doesn't update all the time, and if they don't break the news, they're kind of bitches about it. And Dying Scene just reports everything, and you get a lot of new music to listen to. And Dying Scene's like probably my favorite site right now in punk rock world. And that's not to slate any of the other sites.
That's
'cause
awesome, man.
it's
That's
also
great.
cool because it's like they were the first site to give a shit about us. Like we're not cool enough for a lot of other sites. Like we don't play twinkly music or like we don't talk about pizza and basement with our friends. So certain sites exclude us automatically. So I think Dying Scene's a good resource, and it's
I think this
definitely-
song is a really good background for this too. I'm sorry, go on.
it's definitely a good
Oh,
outlet
on the
to have.
on the prairie. Yeah.
Somebody should have been playing a harmonica behind this whole thing. We did not plan this out.
Where can people find your music?
All right, well, you could buy either our 7-inch or our 12-inch from say10records.com. It's say-10. You can also buy it from our Bandcamp, but, say 10 would be preferable, I guess.
Adam's really nice.
Adam is really good, and his
Adam's
dog's,
the most negative
his dog
guy I
is
know.
adorable, so you should make
Oh
sure
yeah,
he can
you
feed
guys
it.
love dogs, right? That's the one.
Yeah.
Adam's
Does
got
everybody
a
have
really
dog?
cute.
No, I have cats, and I despise them both.
What?
Yeah.
Why
Every
would
morning
you,
I
so
wake up
that's-
hoping
so
to
that's
find them
ironic
dead.
too that you have the fact that you have that written on there. You really don't like dogs.
No, I have no problem with dogs. In fact, his
No, I
dog's
think-
one of my favorites.
I think he said he doesn't like
Like
cats
cats.
Yeah,
because
I have
he
two
likes
cats I
dogs.
dislike.
Who, like,
Cats
Pretty
the
much
worst.
to be in this band, the only reason I'm in this band is because they're like, you have a bass and you like dogs and you have a dog. So that's why I'm
That's
Yeah.
right. What's your dog's name, man?
Ranger.
What's your dog's name?
Duncan.
What's your dog's name?
Sammy.
What's your dog's name?
I have only cats, and I don't like them.
And they
I don't want to
suck.
talk about them.
Fuck those cats.
Yeah, I every morning I wake up hoping they're dead, but every morning they want more food.
So, do you have any like last words that you want to say to like the people of the internet?
Stop with the porn.